Today I wanted to talk about core values, and I wrote a little something about this on my Substack. If you want to check that out, bus166.substack.com. So I ran my company, and in May of 2022, it'll be 20 years that I've been in business. And I ran that company for 17 years before I even knew, about 17 years before I even knew what core values were. A lot of businesses have core values. It's kind of like it's meant to be a sort of guiding set of principles that you follow, and you can, there's a system that we use in our business. It's called the EOS, the Entrepreneur Operating System. It's from a book called Traction. If you're in business and you want to find out how to run your business really well, I would suggest reading that book. It's really good. A lot of businesses do really well with that system. But anyway, core values are a big part of that system. You're supposed to hire, fire, review, and reward people based on following these core values. So like in our company, we implemented them a little over a year ago, sometime, I can't remember exactly when. And so we have a set of 7 core values. And what's cool about it is anytime anything goes right or goes wrong in the company, you can point to those core values and say, okay, like if somebody does something really well, we can say, hey, that's really dope that you did that. You followed this and this core value and you implemented it. That's really cool. Or if something goes wrong, you can point to those core values and say, we missed the mark on this core value and we're not really living up to our standards. So it's like sort of the North Star to help you make different decisions. I wanted to talk about here because I think it could be pretty interesting because number one, you can have personal core values, and I'll get a little into that. I don't really have a set of core values that I wrote down, but I have, my own personal core values are in line with the ones that I established for my company. And that's pretty common from what I understand is if you're leading a company and you don't follow those same core values in your regular life, it's a little hypocritical that you come in and you ask all these people to follow this sort of set of standards and you're not even following them at all. But one thing that I wrote about in that Substack thing is when you have your own personal core values, you may not have them written down, but you're most likely living by them. And one example that's pretty common that you see when you go shopping at the grocery store, are you the kind of person that puts the cart away when you're done every time? Or are you the person that leaves the cart for somebody else to deal with? So whichever side of that thing you're on, you're most likely living those same set of standards in different parts of your life. So if you're the kind of person that says, fuck it, somebody else will deal with this, then it's pretty likely that you're saying, fuck it, someone else will deal with this in other aspects of your life. But if you're the kind of person that takes the initiative or the ownership of dealing with that yourself, it's probably being reflected in other parts of your life as well. So if you start to learn about core values, and I would suggest just doing a quick search online, and if this sounds interesting, I don't want to get too far into like all the different kinds of core values and shit, but there's tons of information on there. So if you were to establish core values for yourself, which you probably already have, it would be just a matter of discovering what they are. And you could write them down. I probably should do that. I haven't done that for my own personal core values, but for running a business, I believe they're critical. One of the critical pieces of the puzzle for running a business. Because when you have a business, you need to have a strong culture. You need to have everybody kind of living up to the same set of standards and rowing the boat in the same direction, if you will. So what I was thinking is you could apply this to your graph crew. If you're a part of a graph crew, I think it would be cool to implement a set of core values. And I think most graph crews probably already have them. You just aren't aware of them. So it's kind of like just being intentional about it. So a lot of graph crews maybe have rules and all this kind of stuff. But if you set a list of core values, pick 6 to 10 different ones, that could be a way for you to move your crew forward in the graph culture, whatever those core values are. It could be something that could, how can I explain this? Like if you were to, how a lot of crews work, you become friends with people and then you put them on and then maybe every now and then you'll start to think like, oh, this person isn't really fitting in, but they didn't really do anything wrong. So it's like, you don't want to give them the boot because they haven't really done anything wrong and, things like that. So core values might help you establish those boundaries. So if somebody isn't following your core values, then you know that they're not necessarily a good fit for you. So like I'm part of the Cuts crew. It's a community service-based crew. So we have core values that we follow. Sorry, my dog's hacking in the background of me. So given that crew it's a graph crew, but we don't really function the same as a graph crew. It's more about doing community service type stuff, alley cleanups and murals and underserved areas and shit like that. So we have a charter that we wrote up and there are certain rules, I guess they're values. I mean, we didn't write them up as core values and I think we probably should. But I wanted to give one example, and I know this doesn't apply to probably most graffiti writers or crews, but one of the things that we have in our crew is that if you want to be a part of our crew, you have to drop all your beef with anybody. We don't want anybody in our crew that has active beef with anyone. One thing that we don't participate in beef. So our murals get dissed quite a lot. They'll get tags on them and all these kind of things. None of that stuff matters. We just go back and we fix it and we don't hold any kind of resentment or pursue any kind of beefs against anybody that does that kind of stuff. That's just sort of the way we operate. It's a core value that kind of keeps us heading in the same direction. So it's a simple concept, but it's actually really, really powerful if you spend the time to develop these. And so if you have a business, if you have a crew, or if you want to have your own set of core values, it's definitely worthwhile to look at. And obviously, these core values are personal to whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. But it's a good tool to use to make sure you have the people around you that are heading in the same direction. Because if you have personal core values, you can also use that as your sort of guiding principles for the kind of people that you want to have in your circle. You don't have to let everybody in your circle that wants to be part of your circle, and you shouldn't. I mean, your energy is very important, and some people just don't really mix together. So if you had a set of core values, that might be something that can help you point out issues. Like if you have somebody around you and you're like, something's not right about this person and this isn't really fitting in. If you had this established set of values, then maybe you could look at that list of things and be like, you know what, here's where we kind of don't align. And maybe I don't need to be spending time with this person, So I think that's all I got. I'll probably think of something after I stop recording, but that's how it normally goes. But once again, Happy New Year, and hope you're all doing well. I will see you next week. All right. Good.
Appreciate each and every one of you guys who are supporting the cause and continue to spread the love. And stay up.